Today, I want to talk about something that I haven't talked about yet. And it is something that has significantly changed my daily life since December. I, I have tinnitus. And before December, I had never really understood what that word meant for the person that was living inside of it. I I certainly do now. And I want to have this conversation because I looked for it when things got really hard. And I didn't find many people talking about the real daily experience of it. Um, Not the medical facts, because those are very easy to find, but what it's actually like to live with. So here we are, and I'm going to be honest with you, because at the end I'm going to tell you something a little strange and specific that has helped me a little bit, because I'm hoping maybe it might help someone else, and that would possibly make this video worth making. So first, let me begin with a little context here about me and my hearing. I was born with single-sided deafness. I have no hearing in one ear, and I've had no hearing in that ear my entire life, and it's simply how I came into the world. I've never known anything different, and I want to be clear that I didn't experience this as a tragedy. You can adapt completely to it, and that has always been true. I've learned to position myself in conversations so the hearing side faced the room. I learned to watch faces and read lips, and I learned what I needed to absolutely learn. So 68 years of this, I simply became who I am. And what that meant practically was that I had one ear doing all the work and one ear carrying everything: conversation, music, the sound of my dog Ragnar in the pool, my other dog Emma barking her opinions, and Florida rain on this screen porch. One ear. And it worked. It worked for 68 years. But in December of 2025, something changed in that ear, and I had a significant hearing loss, suddenly enough to notice that something was wrong. The world got quieter in a way that was different from anything that I had experienced before, because this was not the ear that had always been quiet. It was the one that wasn't supposed to be. And so I saw a physician, I saw the ENT, I did what you do. We talked about what happened and what the options were and what realistic expectations look like for me. And with the hearing loss came tinnitus. And if you don't know what tinnitus is, it is a sound, a a constant internal sound, and it's not coming from the outside. Um, there is nothing in the room making the noise. It is being generated by your own auditory system, and there is no way to turn it off. At least I haven't found. And mine sounds like 1,000 cicadas. If you've been in Florida in summer, you know exactly what that sounds like. That high, relentless, layered insect sound that just fills the air. And so now imagine that is inside your head all the time. When you wake up, it is there. When you go to sleep, uh, you're listening to it. When the room is quiet, it is the loudest thing in it. And I want to say something about what doesn't help as well, because I think it's important to name these things. You'll get used to it is the most common thing that people say, and I understand why they say it. There is truth to it eventually, but in the early months, it is genuinely not helpful. And I think we should be allowed to say that without being corrected. White noise machines and sound machines, they help some people. They haven't been particularly effective for me. The sound underneath the white noise is still there, and typically I just have more sound. Distraction helps somewhat. Being busy, being engaged, being in conversation. The tinnitus doesn't disappear, but it does recede a little bit when my attention is elsewhere. Quiet is the enemy. The moments that used to feel peaceful, early morning, late at night, the house settling, those are now moments when the cicadas are the loudest because there is nothing else to hear. And it's really unfortunate. I don't even know what quiet is anymore. But I sleep, I function, I make these videos, I bead, I do art and swim in the pool with the dog supervising. Life continues and it is genuinely good. But the noise is always there. And I just want to say that clearly. The noise never goes away. But I want to tell you about a strange thing that helps me a little bit. And I will say that it's definitely strange. And I probably would not have predicted this at the time. But I didn't make this up. And so, or at least I've talked on this channel that I love rap music. And I find the storytelling and the lyrical architecture and sheer craft some of the best music, and it's genuinely compelling. But since I've had the hearing loss, the way I experience music has changed completely. Certain frequencies are harder to track. Words and songs that I used to catch clearly, they sometimes blur together. And someone mentioned to me that AI tools now exist that can reinterpret music in different arrangements. You can take a song and reimagine it in a completely different style. And I discovered that if I take a rap song, which I love for the words, and I listen to it, but I listened to it reinterpreted by AI into 1970s soul music with a full arrangement and gospel backup singers. I can, and I know I can understand every or almost every single word. The soul arrangement, the sort of way it's constructed, the frequencies involved, and the way the vocals sit differently in that musical frame, something about it sort of works with how my ear currently receives sound rather than against it. The words come through much more clearly and cleanly. And here's the part that still surprises me. For a while, and not always and not reliably, but sometimes it helps the tinnitus. It doesn't silence it, and it certainly doesn't cure it. But the music and the tinnitus, they seem to kind of find some negotiated space together. And the cicadas back down a little bit. And I want to say that I don't have a medical explanation for this, not a doctor, and I'm not making any claims about any treatment. What I know is that it has helped me on some of the harder days. And it was unexpected enough that I wanted to share it here in case it might help somebody else. If you are living with tinnitus, I definitely see you and I understand. I know what 3 a.m. sounds like when the room is quiet and the noise isn't. I know the specific loneliness of a symptom that is invisible and constant and doesn't have a clear solution. And I'm not going to tell you that it gets completely better because I certainly don't know that yet myself. What I can tell you is that life is still full and that I still do my art and I swim and I play with the dogs, um, and life goes on every single day. Um, and that, for the most part, my life situation has not changed. It continues, and it's pretty good, even with the cicadas in my head. If you have tinnitus, leave me a comment. I'd love to know what helps you. And I mean that. I am still learning. This is Deborah, still becoming. And please take care of yourselves. And I mean that more than I usually do. Today,